Hey Stampers, Gaynor again, and I'm having a play this time with the Enduring Beauty. Now, I had this as a freebie. I didn't get the mask and I didn't get the dies that come with it. I just earned the stamp set as a freebie. Now, this always reminded me of the lovely lattice. Do you remember the one with the flowers with the lattice around the outside? I think that was a freebie a long time ago with Celebration, but yeah, it's a good size stamp, and the card I've had a play with is a little bit on the rough side. I used my Blackberry Bliss ink in there first and then went over with white. I couldn't find my Stampin' Up white pad, so I've got the Hero Arts Hero Hues. It's the unicorn pigment and it's brilliant. So I'd already gone and coloured, and I'm not going to do that. I did a sample, but I've tossed it in the bin because I cut it up. Let me see if I can find it. So I did it just with white, and then I shredded the paper and cut it and glued on. I wasn't really fussed. I suppose you could do it, but this was without the colour. This is the one with the colour, but I think it just pulls off the colour from the cardstock enough to give it a pink hue. And then I used my white gel pen just to create some white lines, just to give the flowers a little bit more dimension on all of it. So you can add after. So we're going to do that one. I didn't like the banner. I added the white strip afterwards and trimmed off. What I'll do this time is I'll do my strip and I'll do the Blackberry Bliss. I might have to. I think I've got a piece somewhere. Afterwards, let me see. If I've not got a piece, I'll have to do it in a different colour. Oh, I'll have to find a piece of Blackberry Bliss. I've normally got some in my scraps bin. I don't think that would go. Bleh, no. We could use black, I suppose. But that's... No, I don't like the black either. So, I will just... What's this? This is Merry Merlot. Oh, I don't think that goes either. Oh, Gaynor, you'll have to get a slice out. I'll have to get a slice out. I will grab myself quickly a piece of Blackberry Bliss. I've already got my pieces ready for the card. So what I'll do is I'll do the stamping, we'll do the heat embossing, we'll do the white work with the ink. I will add my sentiment through the center, and I will, because I'm gonna have a piece of white, but I'm going to chop it off before I add it to the cardstock, because if you look, I didn't quite get it to the end there, look, see? And that end as well. Well, I did that end, but I'd made a few we'll sort it anyway. So let me just grab a piece of cardstock, because I might get another one for that card. Blackberry Bliss, where are you? I found it. There we go. Ooh! Delight then. So I'm going to use this piece for my sentiment, and I'm going to cut a nice fresh piece for my card. So I'm going to cut this. That's it. I'm going to cut this to 4 by 5 3/4. And then if we need to trim, we need to trim. If we don't, all well and good. So that's my new piece. And these are going to go in my scraps bin now, ready for a card base. If I cut any cardstock down, so I always cut it. Let me cut that down to a card size, because it won't stand up in my bin. 5 7/8. Oh, look at that. If I use that now, that piece that I was going to use for my sentiment can go in my scraps bin. I can use this piece. So if I cut that down to 3/4 of an inch, on my white piece to 1 inch, Oh, look at that. I got plenty there and extra for another one. So let me just see how wide. Oh, let's cut a piece of. Oh, that's not long enough. Do I have any longer piece? I've got all these. Oh, that's long enough, definitely. Oh, definitely. So let's cut this to 1 inch. I may even cut them down a little bit smaller. I've got all my scraps in my little tub above my head. So that's going in the bin. I don't like that. So now I can adjust my panel. This now will be my centerpiece, and then I can flip it over and chop them off. That's perfect. So I could even, oh, that's perfect for doing my sentiment. So I'm going to need this to stamp on. Whoops. And I'm going to need this to stamp on. I have already mounted my stamp in my Stamparatus. And I'm taking this off just while I stamp my image. Now, I normally go over with my embossing buddy, but I find with darker cardstock, it leaves like a little film all over it, and I really don't like that. But I'm going to press on my corner, tuck that in. Where's my magnet? And I'm just going to place my magnet. And I have got only, what's it called? VersaFine mark. I'm forgetting my head if it is loose. I'm going to lift that up. I'm going to make sure it's tucked right back in the corner. And then I'm going to ink the image with the VersaFine. I'm going to make sure I really make it stodgy. I think I re-inked this a few weeks, well, quite a while ago, but I have hardly used it, and I think I should do more heat embossing. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I'm going to lay that on, and I've got my glossy accents bottle, and I'm just going to press my image down just so I can make good contact. It has got the sponge underneath, but I want to make sure I get that image perfectly in there, and then lift. That is, I don't know if you can see that, but that is absolutely beautiful. There you go. See that? Beautiful. So I'm going to be careful to turn this around, line that back up. I'm going to re-ink because I did this one, I inked it, added the white heat embossing, set it, but it warped my page. So when I come to do the other side, I had to stamp and stamp and stamp. So I'm doing it all now at the same time. So fingers crossed I don't make a boo-boo. And I know it's not going all over my image, but this is VersaFine. It conditions your stamps, so it's not going to do it any harm whatsoever. And then I'm going to place that on this corner. And again, I'm just making sure my image is making contact with the cardstock. This would make a beautiful anniversary card, or even a great sympathy card. I don't like making sympathy cards. Oh, shavings. Thankfully it's still in the same position. No, I don't like making see, now all that's on there is a little tiny bit of my embossing VersaFine, but that again has inked up beautiful. So let's just pop that to one side for a sec. I have got my embossing powder. I've had these since I joined Stampin' Up, so they don't go off. and I'm making sure I've got plenty on there. Got a little tiny smudge there, but it's a handmade card, girls, so we can't moan. Look, see where my fingers have been? Right, let's pop that to one side. I'm going to be using that again in a sec. I've only got a really large paintbrush though, that's the only problem. So, squeeze your bristles. Try and get as much off as possible. Oh, I used to have a really tiny paintbrush. Oh wait there, I think I've just found a smaller one. It's actually a larger one, but it's in the packet, so I'm just going to leave the packet. Now it's a bit of a boo-boo in there, but there's nothing much I can do about that. Maybe our label is going to go across that bit. As long as one of them is gorgeous. I should have loads. I had loads of paintbrushes, and oh, look what I've just found. A really little tiny detailed one. It's a bit crispy on the end, but I'm just going to run my finger through it, and then get as much of that off as possible. I'm going to set this now, because we've got little dots, and they're not actually dots, they're little petals from another stamp which is from the set, but I'm going to add them like dots, but strategically. I'm not going to make a fuss too much. There's not much I can do unless I start again, and I'm not going to start again. So let me get my heat tool out just for a second. We'll do the sentiment as well in a minute. Excuse the sound, but I'm going to warm my gun up. It's pretty good, this one. It heats up pretty fast, so I'm going to do the back of the card just to warm the card up. And then when I come back round, it's starting to go already. I got a few smudges, but I can live with that. I love to see the change. Now there is a few boo-boos. I'm not sure if I like that. I have made a bit of a boo-boo there, but because I'm using a white gel pen or white paint, let's set that to one side. Let's get our little strip in. I have got it mounted, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab my cleaning cloth, because I found a few bits on this, and you need a microfiber cloth with no bits whatsoever, and this is like a sponge, but there's no fibrous bits, so I'm going to keep that nice and clean. Believe it or not, that's a dog drying towel. I had that many moons ago. So again, let's just dust our strip. Thing is with me, I'm quite a heavy stamper. Don't mind getting it on this. I just don't want to. Let me pull it a bit closer. let me have a look. See if I've got that in the middle. Oh, it's a little bit skew with. Let me try it down this end. I'm gonna get my head over it. Let's have a look at that. Is that better? Oh, that's a lot better. Oh, that's a lot better. Right, we'll need that again in a minute. Oh, that's lovely. That's so much better. We're going to use that again in a sec. I can't believe that Bashy said 3 bars. Look at that. At least I've got it and I didn't carry on. I normally carry on and don't notice it. But we got a new battery in. So where my other bit is, I'm just going to take my finger and I'm just going to get rid of that stickiness. You can still see the sentiment, but by the time I heat set this now and add it to the card with a few embellishments, you're not going to see anything. So 2 minutes again. Watch it starting to change. Beautiful. Oh, that's a much better sentiment. Look how clean and crisp. So we've got that. Right, now let's get our card back and our VersaFine. And I'm only doing one. Oh, shavings. Look at Gaynor. 2, 3, 4, 5. They're tiny little petals they are. So let's pop that to one side. Let's see if we've got this okay-ish. Look how cute. Oh wow. Right, let's get that popped away. I need a new container. It's got a split in it. Gaynor needs a new container. I gotta split this end in my container. So, paintbrush. Let's get rid of it. I'm actually not that bothered. I've smudged it. Oh, do you know what? I'm getting rid of that one. Get rid of that altogether. Right, my little stampy thing. Come back. See if I can get this lined back up. Right, dip it again. Whoa, I need a quieter container. Oh no, I don't like that. It's blurry. I don't like it. Right, where is my ink again? Gaynor will get it right in the end, you know. Let's try that. It's handmade. There we go. That got it this time. Whew, that's better. We'll get there in the end. Right, one more heat set. Give me a second. I know I've got fingerprints everywhere. if I can get any more off. No, I'm not going to get any more off than that, but here goes. There we go. So there is a little bit of dust everywhere, but I think it adds to the character. I did mine with just the ink and it was a bit too pale, I think. So brushes. Done, dusted. Let's just... Right, let's get... I'm going to zoom you in. And grab that out of the way. I've got my card. Stock. I've got my... Wow. Looking at... I've got a blender, one of the Stampin' Right blender pens. So I'm going to leave that there. I got my white gel pen. And I'm going to try and find my remote to zoom in. There we go. I haven't used this for a while, so let me try and zoom in. There we go. I'm going to keep that at the bottom half. Now, I've got a pretty much a white end, which has already got white ink on, as you can see. But it's a pigment ink as well, so. And all I do with this, I just touch the bottom of my ink pad. Now, I've had this ink pad for years, but used it maybe 1 or 2 times. So it's nice and juicy. And then we're just going to start and just doing lines going down. And it will fade because it's a pigment ink. And you don't have to dip all the time. Just turn your pen to get the fresh ink. And where my boobs are, I don't mind. And then again, just touch the ink pad. Use it down the bottom. You can put it on the top, but I think ink settles. So just go at the side. And just lightly touch it at first. And when it starts to run that down, you can press it a little bit harder. You could also do this with an old Wink of Stella, if you want to add a bit of sparkle in there as well. But just turn your pen around until that ink runs out. And it does pick up a little bit of your cardstock, believe it or not. And if you don't want it mega white, just don't dink very often. Just keep it pale. I mean, you can do a really subtle white. But look at that, it's coloured those flowers in and I've dunked it twice. So... But it just looks so pretty. Turn your pen, add a bit more white, blend it in. Don't worry about getting it mega perfect, because we're going to add some flecks. And your pen doesn't always pick up straight away, so you have to just keep going until your pen. And even if you've got it thick like this now, give it 5 minutes. And the ink, look, you see it's starting to fade. Because it's a pigment ink, it'll dry a lot paler. So just keep, you see any bits you've missed, just go back in. And then just keep going around the outside of the petals. Turning your pen. If you don't have a blend, use an old Wink of Stella bottle. Wink of Stella pen. And then just colour these beautiful petals in. I've seen a few cards on YouTube and they're all very brightly coloured, which are beautiful, but I wanted something a bit more celebratory, if you know what I mean. So like for a wedding anniversary, or like I'm saying, a get well soon card or a sympathy card. And believe it or not, by the time I finish this and move on to this, that'll be dry, and by the time that's dry I would have done my white pen gelling on this one. So it's not going to take up a lot of time, as you can see. And do you know what I've been told about these, if I remember rightly, because they're blends, they've got like an oil to help with the blending in the sponge, if I remember rightly. Somebody said either dunk it in coconut oil or olive oil, I can't remember, or baby oil, and then leave it, squeeze out, soak the end in baby oil, and then take off as much of the oil as possible because you don't want to smear, and then leave it to dry for a couple of days naturally, and it gives you that silkiness again from your pen. When you first bought them, they had like a film on them. So if I remember rightly, please don't quote me, I'll have to Google it and find out, but I'm sure that's what I heard somebody say once over. So I have got a smudge there, see, from my blend, from my embossing, but this takes it all away. That is beautiful, and I'm not touching the leaves whatsoever. I'm leaving those plain. I don't want to just start drawing attention. Now look at that, isn't that beautiful? Now I'll leave that to dry. I'm going to go in with my pen and I'm just going to pick up some more white. If you haven't got this ink I've got, use the Stampin' Up white ink. That's just as good. Turn your pen, get a bit more colour. But can you see that it's lightening and making that flower look pink from the cardstock? I just wanted something a bit more elegant. And even if you want to do this, you could do this in the colours that I'm doing. Don't do the white section. Then heat emboss again in white on vellum and cover it over, and maybe colour from the back of the vellum. But I think that's a bit too opaque and a bit too obstructive. I think this way is just beautiful and subtle. And I'll show you in a minute when we're finished. I hope you agree with me. And if you want to go over with the tissue to lighten it a bit, I wouldn't need to, but it's pale enough. This beautiful flower is absolutely gorgeous. So I'm just going to keep turning it so you can see that I'm just turning my pen. And it's nothing hard. You literally, the lines are there for you, and it's not like you can go over because they're raised. Just another flower there, and then pick up this one and this one, and we're done. Just for this part. And I'm just doing circular motions. Soaking my pen and then just blending that white. Oh, there's another flower there. Oh, look at that. Got a bit to go. You want a natural oil when you because your blends will dry out apparently, and you have to buy more. But if you can do it with the oil, which just helps to blend the inks that you've got on there. I suppose it's just like having adding water, but without getting your cardstock wet. I think that oil helps better to blend. But I think using a coconut oil or a neutral oil like olive oil, an odorless one maybe even, will keep those beautiful pens moist, and you won't have to keep replenishing them. You buy them once. Well, I've had these since I joined Stampin' Up 8 years ago. I don't do a lot of blending with them, but if I can make them live a little bit longer, then I'm gonna. Just getting that white ink. You could do this with any colour ink on this background, but I like the white and the way it pulls the pink up from the cardstock itself. We're on to our last flower now, this one. And look how pale it's going. It's absolutely beautiful. If you don't have a blend pen, you could always use your finger, but you'll get covered in it. Look, it really does stain. It's a pigment ink, so. But I know you lovely ladies like cards for anniversaries, and you've probably got older friends who like a gorgeously romantic looking beautiful birthday card. But I just think that is, I mean, you could stop right now. That would be an amazing card. Absolutely beautiful. I'll put my ink away. And the quickest way to clean this is just get your sponge, the one without any fibres, and it will take it all off, and you're not going to pick up any nasties. You could even soak it, like I'm saying. So I've still got a little bit in there, but that's not going to do any damage to any other colour. So let's just grab my white gel pen now. Sorry, let me come back in shot. And I'm literally cleaning off my nib. And see how it's adding streaks? I'll come up. Let me see if I can get a bit closer. See how it's adding streaks? Doesn't always work, so this is why I'm twisting my pen. Now, mind you, I should start on the other. That still needs to dry, so let me start on this side. So if you've made any boo-boos like I have, the white flecks off the gel pen, I just add in a little bit of texture to my flower. So let's move it round to this large one. And you don't have to do it all over, you can just do it in certain areas, just to add a bit of dimension. I just think it picks it up and makes that flower look a little bit more realistic. Just move it across. I'm really close. Now my pen's starting to flow. I mean, you could add dots even. To some of the flowers. You're just adding texture. I mean, you can do it just around the outside or just inside the petals. Just absolutely beautiful. Go down to this last little one. Just pick up, I'm going to turn it round to this last little flower here. And I'm just emphasising my little boo-boobs so no one thinks I've made any mistakes. Beautiful. Let's get this moved over. Just love it. Can you see that yet? I'm going to stay with the dots around the centre of the flower and then just pull in some streaks. Just makes it look a little bit more realistic. It's so cute. Come up to this one. Again, I'm just going to add a few dots. Sorry, I just went over to my old. And this gel pen doesn't take long to go off. And I'm just emphasising the lines that are already there and pulling in a few others. That is so pretty. Wait till you see it zoomed out. So lovely. Right, let me zoom out. That is gorgeous. Beautiful, even from a distance. Oh, I love it. So that is my white gel pen. I am now going to see. Look at that, I've put the spots right through where I'm going to go. I could even keep it straight. Oh, let's keep this one straight actually. I'm going to add that across there. So I tell you what, I'm going to use dimensionals, I think. Let's get some. Let's add that across there. I added my other dots after I had added my. I'm just going to pull this a little bit closer. I'm going to have a look to see if that's straight. Beautiful. Love it. Right, grab the scissors. Take that off. And I'm going to make sure that is level. Perfect. I'm going to grab some glue for that. And I don't mind if I go over a little bit either side because I'm going to trim. Make sure my sentiment is roughly in the centre. Nice. Oh, I love it. Again, I'm going to flip. Thankfully, my scissors are titanium and the glue doesn't stick. Can you imagine this on, if you did this on black cardstock? Okay. Clean my scissors later. But that is absolutely gorgeous. And I think, do I have, oh, I've got black. I don't know if black would go. I think I'm going to use white. And I could add a little red. Let me just see what it looks like before we cut it off or tie it in knots. Let me just see. Keep that above. No, I don't like that. Let's just use a bow. So, Gaynor's, I'm going to get my bow maker actually. And I'm going to go round it twice. 1, 2. I'm going to cross that over. Grab my scissors. I'm going to pull it until my tie is just where I want it. And I'm going to snip, and then I'm going to get myself another tie either side gently. So I've got 2 bows and 2 tails without having to cut off 2 lots of ribbon. Tails are a little bit long, but it's not that much of a waste. I love that bow maker. I think that will look really pretty just there. I know you can't see all the words, but let me get a glue dot. Oh, luckily I've got one there. Pokey tool. So I'm just going to pop that right up there. I'm going to curl it down so it doesn't always give me too much sticky. Curl it up. And I'm just going to press. And I can't feel any sticky on my fingers, so I want to just give that a little trim. I don't want to take too much. I want to keep the tails pretty long. It looks so sweet. It just looks so pretty. So let's get those popped away for a second. I'm fetching my card plate, which is a top folding note card because I cut quite a few of them the other week. So I'm just going to look to see, do I need to trim a little bit? Yes, I'm going to take a tiny fraction just off this bottom section. It's best to do it after. So that's 5 3/4. I'm going to take this down to 5 and just 5 7/8. I can't, well I could, but I think my card is wide enough at 4 inches. Just to give me that cute little white border all the way around. I like that. That's plenty. Again, you could add that on dimensionals, but I'm literally going to glue this on. I love this colour. I also love the rich raspberry, but you know when you've got the cardstock, you think to yourself, I'll use it another time, I'll use it another time, but you never get round to it. So this time I thought, no, the rich raspberry is just absolutely gorgeous. Nothing's coming off because it's drying. And if worse comes to it, what I'm going to do now to make it a little bit more beautiful, because we've added those petals as an accent piece. Let me see, am I zoomed out properly? There we go. Because we've added these as an accent piece, and we've got a few little speckles because Gaynor's not the best embosser in the world. I'm just going to grab my Winker Stella, give it a squeeze, and then I'm just going to tap it when it wants to. I'll give it a squeeze before I see it's coming out now. I may kind of sprayed it with my spray, my shimmer spray. I think that is just enough little sparkle on there. I don't know if you can see it in the little light. There's some sparkle on there, and maybe just go over the leaves to add a bit more sparkle. Let me just pump some more of that fluid out. There it is. Give it a good shake. And instead of having sparkle all over the flowers, just add it to the leaves. Just to highlight those little areas again. Now it's coming out. Oh, that is absolutely beautiful. So we got some shimmer, we got some shine, we got some flecks, we got white bits. That's perfect. I love that. And if you don't want these tails too long, you could always add a glue dot up there and a glue dot down here to keep that into place. But I think that is absolutely gorgeous. I do have a little tray of gems that I've got. There are some tiny ones in there, but I think there's some tiny ones. I added way too many on this card. Like, I went well over the top. Ooh, lots of bling bling bling. Let's see. Let me grab my little glue. I'm not going to add too many because I'm just going to add that. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. I've got my little pick up tool. I've had this one given to me and I love it and it's brilliant. So I'm going to find a little gem there. Oh, it looks big once you pick it up. They're not all the same size, there's different sizes. See, there's a tiny one. That one's not tiny. There's a tiny one there, but I need to turn it over. And on this end, it's got a flat end for poking your gems down. Beautiful. There's some really tiny ones. I mean, look how small that one is. Oh, you can't even see that. I can. That one's huge, so I'm going to put that one there when it wants to come off. And then I'm going to press my gem presser. And it helps me to scrape off any excess glue. Let me just see. Let me pull these a little bit closer. I got a small one there. I've got another small one I can see. They look huge when you pick them up, but they look small in the tray. There we go, that one I'll do. So, I love this little container. And I only dropped 2. I only dropped 2. Love this cute little tray. I'm going to pop my pick-a-rapper. I got this off my wonderful friend Cindy a long time ago. But there we go. I've added some cute little gems. We've got white gel pen and it's a beautiful top folding. And if you want to make it personalised, you could even pull the tails down there. I just think that is absolutely gorgeous. I prefer this one to this one. Maybe you could keep your sentiment that way, but I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you'll give it a go. Don't be afraid to use things in your stash to get different textures, different ways of looking at stuff. I mean, a lot of ladies, like I say, and I've seen a lot of colourful ones which are absolutely beautiful. It's just that when I start adding too much colour, I get a bit over the top, and I end up then adding too much colour and hating it afterwards. But not much, well, not hating, that's a strong word, but I do like the simplicity of the white pigment ink. Pulling off a different colour but giving me this really deep and rich background. But I hope you like it anyway. I'd love a thumbs up and a share. All glory to our great Lord and Saviour who lets us do all these wonderful things. He gives us the talents to share to other people, and he also gives us the heart to be nice to one another. So till next time, stay good and be nice to each other. Bye.